Hey, Brownsville. Welcome back to another episode of Brownsville at Large. I'm your host, Commissioner Tino Villarreal Jr., and thank you for joining us again. Today, we're talking about infrastructure, but not the kind of infrastructure we normally see when we drive throughout the city. We're talking about digital infrastructure that helps Brownsville communicate, compete, and prepare for the future. Broadband, fiber optic network, cybersecurity, private 5G, data systems, and the technology that connects our city departments and supports the services residents depend on every single day. This may sound technical, but it affects nearly every part of modern life. It affects whether a student can complete an assignment at home, whether a resident can apply for a job online, whether a small business can reach new customers, whether first responders can receive information quickly, and whether the city can use real-time information to improve traffic, drainage, public safety, parks, and everyday services. For many years, Brownsville faced series of challenges with internet access and connectivity. Today, the city is working to change that story by expanding its fiber network, helping bring high-speed service closer to homes and businesses, and developing a private 5G network for municipal operations. This is not simply about installing cables, antennas, computers, or cameras. It's about building opportunity. It's about making sure that residents are not left behind as education, healthcare, employment, and business and government services become more and more digital. And it's about preparing Brownsville to become a smarter, safer, and the most connected city. Joining me today is Jorge Cárdenas, Chief Information Officer for the City of Brownsville. Jorge and his team help manage the technology systems used throughout the city, including communications, cybersecurity, broadband, infrastructure, data, digital services, and smart city technology. Jorge, welcome to the show. It's my honor to have you here at Brownsville at Large.
No, thank you very much for having me. It's an honor.
Well, we're going to dive into a lot of questions about fiber, broadband, cybersecurity, private 5G, a lot of things that I would love our residents to know, the citizens of Brownsville, that sometimes you take for granted. But before we dive into all of that and much more, we always do this little segment here. It's called 21 Questions with Tino, just to kind of break the ice and for people to get to know you a little bit better. So it's rapid fire. Feel free to answer quickly. And if you don't want to answer, we just can move on to the next one. It's just to kind of, like I said, it's just to loosen things up and have a real good conversation here today.
All right, let's do it.
All right. So, are you? What's your your go-to coffee order?
A latte, vanilla. That's my go-to.
Okay. Would you consider yourself a morning person or a night owl?
A morning person.
What time do you wake up?
I usually wake up at 5.
Okay. Um, Favorite tacos in Brownsville?
Favorite the calacas definitely.
Calacas. How about if it's not tacos? What's a restaurant in Brownsville that you would recommend to anyone that came to Brownsville for the first time?
For the first time, I mean, I think chimoles is one of them that they gotta try. This is really authentic, unique for the area.
Okay. Um, would you prefer a beach day or a staycation?
Staycation. I like to relax. I work a lot during the week, so relaxing is good.
Okay. Are you more of a person who texts messages or you like phone calls?
I like phone calls.
Yeah, me too. I can't just get over that.
Yes.
What's one app that you think you use way too much on your phone?
Wall Street Journal. I read all the time. I am on it. Every second that I have is like I'm reading what is going on.
Okay. What is the first piece of technology that really interested you?
Cell phone, and there's a lot of behind that because the cell phone changed everything.
Okay. What was your first job ever?
I can say I was a farm boy. My parents have a farm in Guanajuato and in Georgia, so I grew up in a farm.
What's your go-to? Uh, is it a phone, an iPad, a tablet? It
Hmm.
doesn't have to be an iPad. I don't know if you use Mac or that,
Windows, yeah.
but you're Windows.
I'm a Windows guy, yeah.
Okay,
IT, I think every IT person is a
it's gonna be
Windows
a
guy.
Windows.
Yeah.
Okay, so is it a phone, a tablet, or a PC?
A phone.
So you work
I like to be on the move, yes.
perfect. One word that your team would use to describe you.
I think discipline.
Are you? Do you consider yourself a planner or problem solver?
Uh, I think I'm a problem solver. I would say so.
What leadership lesson in your life has stayed with you?
Um, Leadership lesson. I think I learned that there's a saying in the Marine Corps that say, "Fast is smooth, as smooth as fast." Right, meaning that you gotta take your time to do it the first time, and make sure that it is consistent. Right, so keep that pace. Don't need to go too fast. Be careless, but don't need to go too slow where you stop in the process.
What keeps you grounded?
My family.
What's something that people would be surprised to know about you?
That I hold 2 degrees and one in human performance, one in sports medicine.
Sports medicine.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That see, I'm surprised to learn that about
See,
you. What's the biggest cybersecurity mistake that the everyday person makes?
ah, that there's many, but I think the most significant is people have weak passwords. That's 88% of your problems right there.
What piece of technology could city government not operate without?
There's all of them. It's almost like asking me what organ can I remove and be able to function, right? But I mean, definitely all of them are critical. The one piece that is definitely your firewall.
Okay. What smart city technology excites you the most?
What piece of technology?
Like what? Like smart city technology.
I think connectivity, wireless connectivity, allows you to do a lot of things.
What career accomplishment are you most proud of?
I think what I'm most proud of, being able to lead people and see the transformation, seeing them from technicians to leaders. That's what I'm mostly proud of.
What advice would you give a Brownsville student interested in a technology career?
Oh, technology is the future, so definitely take the time to learn either cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, because you will need it.
Finish the sentence. Brownsville is.
Growing.
That's 21 questions,
There you
right?
go.
Let's talk about the work, okay? Let's first go big picture, Jorge. When they think about city information technology, your department, they picture, I don't know, someone repairing computers, installing software, resetting passwords. Um, but behind the scenes, your team does something much, much larger, much more important. Our city departments depend on technology to communicate, manage information, process payments, respond to emergencies, serve residents, keep essential systems operating. Give our residents an understanding of the size and complexity of what your team manages every day.
I think that's a great conversation because people think that an IT department just is all about forcing people to create strong passwords, right? Or hey, you got to do your training, your
Or
cybersecurity
Jorge,
training.
I got kicked out and I can't log
I
in.
can log in, right? So those are the day-to-day things, but I think we do that, right? We try to. That's our main goal, to make sure that the employee and the city of Brownsville has their account active so that they can serve the community. I think is like myself without a computer is an employee that is not doing the job to make an impact on those residents. So I think that is I would say 50% of the job. But the what I always tell my team is that you got to think about really the outcome of what we do on a day to day. Yeah, that password that you unlocked from the police officer, that's probably going to save a life later, right? That firefighter as well, that tablet that was not working in the morning and you make it work, Now that's saving somebody's life out there. The same thing at the municipal court or at the city secretary is just the service that is being provided by all the things that the team does. That password reset or upgrade is doing something to the community. So that's the impact of it.
Hmm. The term smart city is often used, and sometimes it sounds like a slogan instead of something that affects everyday life. In simple term, what makes a city smart?
I think that, if you ask me, I don't like that word, smart
Okay,
city.
good.
I don't like it because it's so much to it. I like to call it a connected city. And connected because you need to connect not just your IT infrastructure, which is your internet connectivity or your servers or whatever, but you also have to put it on the streets as well. That street is a route or a passage for somebody to go from point A to point B. So having the right traffic control system that allows me to move around the city in an efficient way, right? And also at a landfill, getting the data that how many cars coming in or how much trash is being dumped in that area, or what is the police cars, the data they're collecting, or the bus drivers with their cameras on the buses collecting the data on what is happening in the street, right? So many things that they are composed as smart city term, but really at the end of the day, if you don't have that connection, and that's why the city of Brownsville decided to go with a private 5G network, because now we're able to connect all those assets. We're able to connect cameras on the streets. We're able to connect sensors on the parks. We're able to provide wireless connection, free wireless connection to the residents, and being able to maybe invite companies to come and test our connection so they can uh, build a business in the area or whatnot. So I think, but a smart city is really people think about it is because everything works and you can see it and people can log in online, but without the connection, there is no way of you creating a smart city. And that's the problem with what we see in a lot of the cities, right? They try to get smart, but it's very hard and it's very costly. But if you do it the right way, and I think Brownsville is doing it the right way with our fiber private 5G network, and we are building a connected city where now we can go anywhere in the city and connect the camera, connect the sensor. Our police officers, our firefighters, our ambulances, they can go and connect anywhere around the city.
So, is it more about not just owning the newest technology, but about using it like to solve real problems in that moment? Is that would you say like that's something that Brownsville's ahead of the curve?
Definitely, Brownsville is ahead of the curve. I have talked to many CIOs around the country and actually the world, and they see that the way we doing it in Brownsville is the right way. We started with the fundamentals of what a smart city is really like, which is the fiber optics, right? The 100 miles that we have underground right now, that's what is powering our private 5G network, which in turn the outcome is connecting those sensors that I just mentioned before. So having the latest technology is not always the best thing. When I got here, everybody was like, hey, what about AI? Can we start doing AI? I'm like, we got to take those steps. We got to create those layers, right? Connectivity first, upgrading our infrastructure footprint, which 4 years ago we were in bad shape. Right now we are cutting edge, and everybody knows Brownsville because of what we have. And it's not that we have the most expensive hardware. I think we are very efficient, and we look at the outcome of what we're gonna buy. If I'm gonna buy that switch, is it really what I need or what I want, or I'm gonna show off, right? No, I want to get what is needed, that is gonna last, that is gonna serve the community for a long time, right? So that's why is taking the time to do the planning is exactly what is moving Brownsville towards that city that is cutting edge. And I ask many people out there, and they know Brownsville is cutting edge. Brownsville is moving the right way, and the technology that we have is setting the standard for the state, probably the
Wow.
country.
Well, I mean, there's a digital divide,
Yeah.
and let's talk about it. Some residents think digital divide just means that one household has internet and another household does not. But I think the issue of digital divide's much bigger than that, right? It could include whether reliable service is available, whether a family can afford it, whether someone has a computer or a device to log in, whether residents have the skills to use the technology safely and effectively, right? How would you define the digital divide in Brownsville today? That's number one.
Mhm.
And number two, why should someone already that has reliable internet care about closing the divide for the rest of the community?
Yeah, I think, looking at the history, 2017, 2014, NTIA said that Brownsville was the worst connected city in the nation, right? I can tell you right now that's not the case, because right now we see the colonias, the areas that didn't have internet before, now they have that option of getting internet at an affordable price. With our P3 partnership with Omni Fiber, is like those who have or receiving any type of I guess check from the government or whatnot or assistant, they can actually qualify for a 14.99 package. So they can go to omni.com and they can go and request that. So that's a step that the city took to get that partnership and provide that low rate connection for those that cannot afford it. Right now, many of those families in those areas, I have talked to a lot of them. Last year we provided about 380 free computers to the residents. I mean, it was amazing seeing the families. It was about over 900 people at the event center, getting their laptop. And
Mm-hmm.
we have a lot of pictures where kids, smiling because they never had a laptop before. Yeah, probably they used it at school, but they didn't have one at home, right? So now you're giving them a laptop that they can use, their parents can use, and they can use that connection that we just mentioned, the partnership that we have with a internet service provider, and also the next thing that we did with our private 5G network is place free Wi-Fi in the parks. So right now I can tell you I run the metrics and I collect the data. Right now we have about 16 average of 16,000 people connecting in the parks weekly.
Wow.
Yeah,
16,000 people weekly
weekly
that use the Wi Fi in the
in the
park,
parks,
and it's
correct.
free.
And it's free. Yeah, and we started last year when it went live. We started at around 800 people because people, I guess, they see a wireless connection available, they try to connect, right? And then it was around 2,000, and then I was like, okay, no, we have to increase that. We gotta let people know that we have fiber. I mean, internet wireless connection. So we deployed signs in the parks where you see a free Wi-Fi, city Wi-Fi in the park. So now people are like, okay, let's see what it is, right? And they start connecting. So now 16,000 people connecting weekly, and the libraries. That's another huge. You mentioned about closing that gap. The libraries are becoming that hub that people really go and try to use the technology. That's why we're building our own technology lab there. So people go in there, they use our computers, they use the internet, they connect to the free wireless there at the library. There's another 2-3,000 people that are connecting weekly at the libraries.
And when did parks start having the Wi-Fi connections?
Last year around February.
Okay, so it's been a year and a
It's
half.
been a year and a half.
A year and a half, and in 2017, less than 10 years ago, a decade ago, we were the least connected city
Yeah,
in the country,
in the country.
and now we have in all public spaces, parks, libraries, 16,000 plus people connecting weekly
Yes.
to the internet. What do you think needs to be done in areas of affordability, maybe devices, digital literacy, or online safety? What can we do better as a city?
I think we doing a lot. I can say at the libraries, they have a lot of the workshops to help people learn, especially the elderly, know how to use the computer. I give a lot of workshops as well on cybersecurity, especially on personal, right? Cybersecurity,
Mm.
because, an organization is different. You're mandated by rules, guidelines, and all that. But in a personal level, it is important that we educate the community on on the proper cybersecurity, awareness. I mean, bank, right? I'll give you an example right now is that I was at a bank last year, and an elderly came in, maybe around 65 years old. It looked like my dad's age, and he was like shaking, and the lady was like, "What's going on?" And he's like, I logged into my account and it's empty. And she was like, "Did you give your password to somebody? You give your access?" He's like, "No, I don't know what happened." He's like, I'm just with my wife at home." That really broke my heart, because now you got somebody that their savings is in that bank account. And I heard the lady's like, "How much did you had in there?" He's like, "Around 98,000 gone." So I mean, at that moment is those real life scenarios that you're like, man, we got to do something about it. And that's why we started, this initiative to teach the community, help them understand about cybersecurity risk, and just keep doing it. Try to help them.
And how do like if someone's watching and they go, I want my grandmother, grandfather, mom, dad, to know about how to, where they offer these courses, where can they find that?
I think the best way to is to go to the libraries.
Okay.
Go to the libraries and ask when is going to be the next workshop. Most of the time, we have that posted at the library, so they have that area where they show what is coming up. So the library is a good place to go, and if not, just call the city, phone line, and they can give them information on when the next one is going to be.
546 help.
546 help. They can give them a call.
So if you're watching this, I think what you said is super important. Digital literacy is huge.
Yeah.
I mean, to have somebody elderly, and what people don't understand is that the elderly are a target for a
Yes.
lot of these scammers.
Yes.
Right? They'll call them, they'll profile them, they'll call them, promise them to save money on their mortgage. They'll do whatever entices an older person to believe that they have the confidence to say, "Who do you bank with? How do I help you save on your mortgage, or how do I get you a lower rate on your credit card?"
Yes.
Whatever it is, right? And so they trust the people, and they can lose $98,000, their whole savings on
Yes.
it, right? So if you're listening and you have someone that's elderly in your family, call 546 help. Ask when the next
Workshop.
cybersecurity
Yeah.
workshop is at your local library, or go to the libraries. Ask there. The city does offer it. I think it's very valuable, not just for the elderly. If anybody wants to just know how to keep their information a little bit more private, right? I think this is for everyone.
Yes, it's for everyone. And then I think I can add on, taking the time since a lot of people watch this episodes, it's like there is a new right now system that we are deploying as a new service management system. So it is going to connect all the departments. So now the 546 Health, they can continue calling that number, but now we're going to have an application web page available where they can log in, or they can call, but they can log in their request, or whatever is it that is happening. There's a pothole on the streets, or there's I need a cybersecurity workshop. When is it available? Or hey, I see a light that is out. So that will be available here in the next month or so. So that will really improve also the I guess the quality, the cleanliness, and the efficiency of the city, because now we're gonna have a portal where people can send their request and we be able to help them.
That's fantastic. You keep talking about a private 5G and Brownsville's network. Um, and for just anyone that's not too tech savvy, let's just break it down. Let's explain it to them in layman's terms, so that people who are watching this, it doesn't go above their head, right? Can you explain the city's fiber network? And when people hear the term middle mile, last mile, you talked about 100 miles. Can you explain that for residents about the rings, and basically like how Brownsville has the ability to have a private 5G, and what these 100 miles look like?
Oh, definitely. I think that is a great question, and I think it's important for people to understand, right, the why. So again, going back to Brownsville being the least connected, we used ARPA funds, around 20 million to build 100 miles of fiber. About 95% of that is all underground.
It's the orange
The
things
orange
that everybody would see.
conduit, yes.
Orange conduits that everybody was like, "What's it doing here in my neighborhood? And
Yeah.
why are they tearing up the side of the street to put it?" It's those, right?
That's the conduit.
Okay.
So that's the conduit that goes underground, and then on that conduit, on those orange pipes, the fiber goes inside of those. Once the conduit is underground, then they come in and they pull the fiber in those conduits, and then there's what we call it vaults, right? In every certain number of feet, they put a vault. That way, fiber comes out, and then another cable continues. But there's a what we call a splice point. That way you can, if later on, if right now we have 576 strands of fiber, we are utilizing maybe 150,000 of those. I mean, 150 of them for our connecting our buildings and our private 5G network. The rest of them are available for the businesses and community to lease or use, right? And that fiber is pretty much, those vaults is the connections for multiple points. So when it comes to the private 5G, I can tell you that it will be impossible for a city to have its own private 5G without the middle mile network, which the conduit, the fiber is the middle mile network. That's pretty much think of it as the roads, the highway that takes you from point A to point B. And without those, you won't be able to get to point A to point B, right? So that's where we have our 5G towers. They connect to the middle mile, and then we broadcast that private cellular network. And when we talk about private 5G, it is a private cellular network. We're not using the carriers, the main carriers out there. We using the Brownsville, City of Brownsville own internet service to broadcast the private 5G. So the 5G, we're not paying a carrier to connect the camera. And right now, that's what really adds the cost to those cities. And that's why they cannot get to the smart city stage.
So, and what's the last mile?
There you go. So the last mile, on that middle mile, those vaults, the splice points connection, that's where our partner Omni Fiber, they come in and they connect to our fiber, and then they follow the routes to their data center, and then the other end goes to the homes. That's the last mile. The last mile is the fiber that goes from the middle mile to the home, and to the homes, the signal back to the data center of the internet provider.
And so it was explained to me, and you can correct me, because it was explained to me that the best possible way for the city of Brownsville to do this, right, was to create rings.
Yes.
And I believe we have 5 rings.
We have 5 rings, and what it really means is that middle mile fiber interconnected. So it's not a straight line, right?
Correct.
So
it's like the middle ring connects 4 rings.
4 rings
all around the city.
Yes.
Right. And so I heard and correct again. That's why you're here, to inform me and to inform the viewers, that fiber was also put at a certain depth, so if we have flooding, hurricanes, any type of interruption, it's very difficult to interrupt this fiber.
Yes. So that fiber, the actual the guideline states that fiber any communication cable needs to be buried below 36 inches. That's usually that's what it goes, 36 inches below ground level. Our fiber, actually, we went 72 inches.
So we went double the
standard. Yes, because obviously we live in close to the Gulf, hurricanes, whatever it might be. So we want to make sure that fiber was secure and protected from the inclement weather.
And the fact that everything's in rings, it's hard to lose that connectivity.
Correct. Right, because now we have 68 city buildings connected to those rings. And every ring has a different route. So it comes in one way and goes the other way. So if this line get cut, the other one continues. We have the redundancy. And that really what is making Omni Fiber very successful, because we see their uptime is very high. Their internet hardly goes down. I have their services since it started back in I think October of 2024,
Mhm.
and I haven't had any issues.
Well, I have it, and I'll tell you it's much faster than anything else. I everyone could be watching Netflix,
Yep.
and it's not going to get interrupted. So all these rings put together, all the fiber on the ground, everything there now allows the city to have that, what we've been saying, the private 5G, like your own network. You can basically run your own phones, your cell phones off of this network, right?
Yep.
It's the towers, it's private. Brownsville owns it.
Mm-hmm.
That means that it's it, there. People are familiar with 5G because they see it on their phones.
Mm-hmm.
They see the word 5G, but the city's 5G is just different. What is a private 5G network? How is it different from the public cellular network that the residents see every day on their phone?
So it is different because the cellular network that you see on your city cell phone, and this is a fun fact for all of you watching, that you see on your phone, the 5G logo there. I can tell you right now, you don't have 5G on your phone. Is they're still running at a 4 or 3G network, all carriers, and especially in this area, they might have 5G in bigger cities, but here is being controlled by the carrier, whichever one you have. And really, you just paying that cell phone bill that you get on a monthly basis. That is your right to use that their own private network, right?
Correct.
So they protect it, they secure it, is them. Now the difference on the city side is that the same internet connection that you have on your desktop in your desk, or the wireless connection inside of your building, is the same connection that you're going to have at the parks, right? Because it's the same internet connection, is secured by the city, is maintained by the city, and you as an employee now can actually go and connect very securely, and you as a resident can go in there knowing that the city is watching that line and is being protected, encrypted, and is safe for the residents to use at no cost.
So, for example, if I have whatever, let's say whoever, I have a Spectrum, AT&T, T-Mobile, whatever thing I have, um, and I say, you know, Mr. Cárdenas,
Mm-hmm.
Jorge, I got hacked, right? Like I got hacked. Someone entered my internet at home, grabbed things from my computer, right? It's because that's a public. I mean, it's private to T-Mobile, it's private to whatever,
Mm-hmm.
but accessing those networks for hackers is a lot easier than it would to access the cities.
Yes, it would. It is the a private 5G network is a lot more protected. It operates in a different, what we call a band, right? It's just more protected. Uh, those Wi-Fi, so access points that you see on I don't know, either at a mall or at a restaurant, things like that. That is an unprotected open network, meaning that anybody can go in there and sniff what we call it, your traffic, whatever is it that you, if you connect into your bank, they're getting that information. You connect into any device, they're getting your information, and they go as deep as, if they're seeing what you have in there, they will clone, what they call a SIM swap, your cell phone, and really clone your cell phone. It so any text, any information that goes through your phone, it goes through their system as well, right? So that's why it is important for you to, be careful when you're out there in the public, and if you don't know that network, don't connect to it, but definitely try to connect to those that you know, and the city of Brownsville's one is the one that you should trust.
Sure. So what departments like parks, public facilities, or city systems are already connected?
So right now we have in the downtown. So we have started with the first phase of the private 5G network,
Mm-hmm.
which is in the downtown area. We have about 9 towers, very successful. That's why we actually went out and got a grant for another $27 million to deploy our private 5G in the rest of the city. And so right now, on what we have on phase one is those parks that I mentioned, and also we have about 140 cameras connected to the private 5G network, where before we had those cameras connected, what we call a point-to-point connection. It's a the internet connection from your building and antenna. If you go to some of the buildings, you see those little antennas, the white plate-looking things. That's a radio, a point-to-point radio. But the thing is that those they degrade with the heat, especially right now, so hot. The signal degrades, the wind messes with them. If there's a building there's being erected somewhere, the path gets obstructed. So it's a lot of issues with it, and we had a lot of issues with that. So now those 100 and plus cameras are connected to the private 5G network, and that's what we've seen. We actually utilize our artificial intelligence to uh, catch about 17 people in the past 3 months on illegal dumping. So those cameras are connected to a private 5G network. That's something that was impossible because there was no way for me to connect a camera in a park. There was no connection.
Yeah, it gives the city eyes everywhere,
Yes.
right? Now, having our own city network, right, also helps our first responders and like you just said, illegal dumping, but it also helps our essential personnel to communicate without there possibly being lag or interruption.
Yes, and it really helps with that. A good example is like when I got here, the planning department had a lot of issues connecting to their cellular phone because we are very close to the border and we get that signal.
Where your phone doesn't know if you're in the U.S. or Matamoros.
Yes, welcome to Mexico, right? You
Yeah.
get those messages. So it was some issues, and that was some of the issues that some of the like the parking meters had when we first started. So that solves that problem. It also allows those police cars, the firefighters that are within the 5G network to stay connected. Um, Now, being very critical, departments, police and fire and all those is like we have the redundancy. We have our private 5G network available for them, but they also have a carrier that we partner with, and they provide what they call the first responder, signal, meaning they prioritize that signal. It's always going to be available, even though there's 100 people connected and the bandwidth can only hold 100 people. Well, they're going to kick out whoever is after 100, and they're going to give those
To the
to the
responders.
responders. Correct.
Wow.
That's the first responder agreement.
Well, let's connect technology to the issues that our residents care about every day. Traffic is one of the biggest things that I hear now as a commissioner. Like, Brownsville used to not have traffic. Now there's traffic everywhere. How can all of this that we talked about help the cities, help Brownsville improve its traffic flow?
That's a great question, and I think going back to the 27 million that we got from the RGB and PO is money that will be used to improve the traffic synchronization.
So I heard that we had like 10% or so of Brownsville traffic lights were synchronized,
Yes.
and now we're going to try to synchronize a majority of the city.
Yeah,
Right?
most of them. Yeah, with the private 5G network providing a connection to the upgraded version of that traffic light, the cabinet that tells the camera in the street light, hey, there's a car or there's no car. If there's no car, keep it green, right? So the other traffic can keep flowing. If there's a car, okay, now give priority, right, to whatever is it. If the frontage road, those are the ones that
Yeah.
you know it, right? Those are the ones that always backed up.
The one on 802 on the corner of Whataburger, everybody always tells me, oh, it's all the way backed up until the dealership and to the Chevy dealership. But this is going to help it because it's going to make it basically synchronized smart traffic flow.
Pretty much, it's gonna the system itself will be able to tell where the traffic is and try to move that traffic as quickly and efficient as possible.
Drainage and flooding are another huge factor that is concerning for our citizens. How could connected flood sensors help the city monitor water levels and respond quicker to heavy rain?
That's another use case that we have on our we deploy our artificial intelligence platform. It's called the Operation Intelligence System. So what it's going to do is like those cameras. So this is the great thing about having our own data, factory or AI factory, is that those cameras will be any camera that is connected to the city network will be turned into a smart camera. Means that I can tell that camera, tell me when you see water rising in that area, and I can even put threshold. If you see more than 3 inches from the ground, send me a signal, right? If you see an accident, send me a signal. So I think that is huge, and the state is big right now, especially with all the floodings that are happening. There's a lot of initiatives coming up to help with that, and I think we chasing those to make sure that we have that available as soon as those cameras are deployed to make sure that we're always looking out for those areas that are getting flooded or accidents or whatever it is, right? Whatever traffic condition that is happening.
So with all that data and the connected systems, um, it can help departments respond to potholes,
Yes.
uh, illegal dumping, like you said,
Yeah.
broken lights, right? Like I'm on my street and they haven't fixed my light in 10 days. Well, nobody's even reported that light. There's 546 help or just call PUB or call whoever,
Mm-hmm.
but nobody reports sometimes the lights, right? Drainage, like you said, a little bit of flooding or other neighborhood issues. How can all this help that? It's what you just said, right? You train
Yep.
your camera to tell you when to send the city a signal.
Yes, and that signal will be connected to the service management system that I mentioned before. That the resident is going to have a portal available for them.
Mm-hmm.
So we've been proactive. We going from a reactive city to a very proactive city with our cameras. Is like, tell me when you see a light that goes out. Okay, it is 7 o'clock. That light should be on. Why is not on? Boom, signal, and that signal goes back to the alert goes back to our service management system. That system pretty much says a light not coming on, and boom, it creates a ticket that is going to go to the whoever engineering department or to
And
the
it sends it to the correct department right away.
right away. As
Wow.
the artificial intelligence built into it that will route it to the right person.
I'm going to switch gears. Let's move to public safety. It's one of the most important uses of technology, as we've been talking about. But it's also residents have concerns about cameras, sensors, data, and privacy. Now that we're like, hey, we have all these cameras watching you, where's my privacy? What safeguards are there in place to make sure that the technology the city gets is used responsibly?
No, that's a great question. I think that I get asked that question a lot, and it's always good to tell residents is like there are many cameras already available around the city, even by the restaurants, by the those gas stations. That there are cameras, so
They have
there
their own
their own
internal
internal cameras
camera
that,
system.
that they can see the same thing, right? Your cell phone right now has a camera. That
Yeah.
really you concerned about privacy, you know, there is one right there. But for us, what the city we doing is we to make sure we respect the privacy of the resident is we the actual there's a way of turning on and off the facial recognition. All of our cameras are off on the facial recognition. It detects the whatever is it that is having the event that is happening, whether somebody is aggressive, somebody holding a weapon, somebody speeding or driving the wrong way. It detects, is really looking out for that. And also the second thing that we doing is every camera now has I guess an angle. And actually you those that have the ring cameras at their
At their
home, you
homes.
can actually tell it how far you want it to record. Like you can actually say, I don't want you to see past my yard, right? So now you see only from your house back to your house. I mean, from the curb
From
to
the
your
curb.
house.
Yeah.
So it's like we done that. In alleys where we have cameras, we make sure that we block those areas that are looking at houses on the backyard and things like that. That way, we only focus on what is really owned by the city, and but also, I mean, it is that feature available, right, for any investigation and things like that. Yeah, that's police department gets involved, and we can look into more. But definitely, we think about that, and we want to make sure that residents know that we care about their privacy, and we do the best we can.
To inform the viewers, how are city employees trained to recognize fraudulent requests, suspicious emails, other cyber threats that could damage our private network?
That's a great question because I'm very my background military, right? So it's all about security. We gotta protect our data. We gotta protect the assets. And when I got here, I started the initiative of pushing for the cybersecurity training program, where now every employee who holds a city account that gets access to data needs to complete the cybersecurity annual training. If you do, actually, right now we are at the end of it.
Even us as public elected officials,
Yes,
we're if you don't do it by the end of July, we're in trouble.
yes, we, we're like, hey, you got until July 30th,
Yeah,
or we will cut your pretty much
your
your
service.
service.
Yeah,
And I think it's been very successful. Right now we are about 8 days until the last
deadline.
day. Right now we have less than 10% of the people that
Have
have
not
not
done it.
completed.
So 90%.
90%, and every year we have 100%, because we do emphasize on, if you don't complete your training, you will be turned off. And people understand that, and we go to the departments. I get invited to departments like retreats or their weekly meetings, and we talk about this, why I make you, or not even make you, I encourage you to complete your
It's
cybersecurity training.
to keep our network safe.
Yeah, especially right now with artificial intelligence, that, man, you can get a video, a phone call, a voicemail from that sounds like me, but it's really not me, right? So I tell one example for the help desk, my team, is that I was like, hey, if somebody calls you and said, I am, Jorge Cárdenas, and I reset my password, you better call my cell phone and say, is it really you?
Yeah.
I'm like, because right now you don't know if it's really me.
Yep.
It could be somebody trying to impersonate me, right? So it's just one of those steps, and that is, you can actually learn that on the cybersecurity training. Talk about artificial intelligence and how those adversaries are, what they're doing to get your information.
Yeah, I mean, cyber attacks are real.
Yeah.
And if a cyber attack were to happen, it disrupts our services, just like a hurricane could, a flood would, a power outage. And I think your team prepares the city to continue operating if the system becomes unavailable,
Yes.
right? Like we have a backup plan.
Oh yeah, we have, in line with the continuity, right?
Yeah.
When I got here, the first thing that I did is assess the cybersecurity program and our continuity plan, the business continuity plan. It's like, I always think about Murphy's Law, right? If it can happen, it will happen. It doesn't matter how secure you are. It doesn't matter who you are. If you the Googles, the Microsoft, and they got hacked too, Microsoft, right? Last year. So we're not vulnerable to that. It's not like we not, it's not going to happen to us. It will happen. So what I have done is created that continuity plan, as we have a disaster recovery plan, a system that pretty much backs up our information 100%. So if they come in and they break into our server, I can just wipe that server, and pretty much restart it with the services that I had before. Why? Because I have already a full backup with the same information that was running on the operation, and it's backed up very frequently, and it's available. And actually, we just renewed that one this year, and it comes with a new feature that we can actually right now restore services from a failure within 2 minutes. That's huge.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, AI is cool, but it's scary, right? For people who just don't know how to use it. Yeah. I try to use it sometimes. It's concerning, but it sounds complicated. But more and more, I started playing with ChatGPT. I think a lot of the students that I teach love ChatGPT.
Yeah, I wonder why.
It definitely makes things a lot it makes a 10-page paper rather quick.
Yes.
But in terms of that, you talked about how AI helps us from a camera standpoint. You train it to see what it wants to look at, to see how it sends alerts and the tickets to the right departments. We've discussed developing an intelligent operations center, right? And what is that? Is that just for people? Explain it to people. Is that like our own kind of AI also? Is that what that is for the city?
Yeah, so I think that's a good way to differentiate between what we call open AI, right?
Yeah,
AI that is available for the public, the chat GPTs,
sure.
even the co-pilots, at a certain point, they're available free for the public. And there's many other Claude and all those, right? But those are any information that you put in there, it goes into
It's out there.
a data center somewhere, who
It's
knows
out there.
where. It's
Yeah.
out there. Whatever you put in, that's why people need to understand that any personal information you put there is in the public. Now everybody sees it. And now the difference between our own artificial intelligence factory that we created in house is it sits inside of our domain. The information that I ask, the cameras comes inside and stays inside.
Yeah.
And I never, and I don't have to go to the chat GPTs or the Copilot, anybody. It stays inside of my network, and I can ask anything that I want because it lives inside. So that is the big difference, right? And the information never leaves your data center. So there's the difference. So yeah,
Yeah, it's basically our own private chat GPT that
that's it.
stores everything here. It's
Yeah,
not out there in the cloud somewhere
it's
that
not.
anyone can access.
Yeah.
Um, Technology infrastructure also is economic development infrastructure, right? You keep talking about we use 150 of the fiber and there's 570, so there's space for people, right?
Yes.
To hopefully see Brownsville as an opportunity to do business in a private 5G network. Is that correct? Like, is that something that, because a lot of cities don't have that to offer. They
Yes.
don't have their own private 5G to offer a company that wants to come here and have their connection fully secured.
Yes. Yeah, it's an opportunity for those business. And I've been contacted actually this morning. I had a great conversation with a big company in the area that they want to utilize our fiber because they have buildings in the Brownsville area, and then they got to take it to their main location. So they're like, hey, instead of us building that fiber that's going to cost me 10-20 million dollars, why don't I lease your fiber? You know, the the capex is not big. I can just put a annual payment to get access to it, and now that company gets up and running within weeks instead of year to build the whole
Sure.
fiber network. The other one that is really is impacting is right now. Two of the colleges they're going to start utilizing our dark fiber. Just look at the impact of that, right? You might think, oh, it's just fiber connecting those colleges. No, it's like they're struggling with the connection they have right now, and now they're going to leverage the city's fiber to connect their campuses and provide a faster, reliable, secure connection. And just let's think about all those students, right? In return, they get access, and that's the future of our city. So we're providing that opportunity for them.
Oh, that's amazing. What technology skills do you think are going to be most important in the next 5 to 10 years?
Definitely cybersecurity,
Okay.
artificial intelligence, and data. So you gotta know how to crunch the data
Uh-huh.
and understand artificial intelligence.
What would you say to a young person who believes that they have to leave Brownsville to build a successful career in technology?
I will say, I think right now as Brownsville is growing, it might be too early for those that are coming straight out of college, but I think there's the in the next couple years, those students who are leaving the Brownsville area to go to the bigger cities to get a job, they will have an opportunity within 3 to 5 years. Why? Because right now the companies as Brownsville growing, those companies require the experienced
Mhm.
engineers, right? They want somebody that comes in and start running to build that company. But here in the next 2 to 3 years or 5 years, those companies now they're like, okay, now we need somebody with 2 3 years of experience, and guess who is going to be those who left Brownsville. So I think it's like tell the community support the growth of Brownsville. It is only going to get better. It's going to provide a lot more opportunities. Maybe not for me right now. Let's say right if I'm new to
Mhm.
the IT industry, but it will for my kids because Brownsville's growing and those opportunities will be here now. and not just on those other cities up north.
Let's move to your team. We usually kind of talk about just information sometimes, but you have an awesome team, and I want to recognize the people behind the work. I wanted people to know who Jorge Cárdenas was, right? I want the viewers and the citizens to know how fascinating it is to be from the least connected city for me, to one of the most advanced technological cities in the country.
Yes.
Um, your team, your employees maintain everything. They maintain the private 5G. They support departments. They monitor our security. They respond to outages. They update the system. They help city employees serve our residents. They help our residents communicate with each other, to have free Wi-Fi at the park.
Mm-hmm.
And technology is constantly changing. Okay, why is investing in your team and your employee trainings as important as investing in computers, software, network equipment, and fiber?
Ah, man, I'm coming again, my background, right? For me, my team is everything. I consider them my family. I tell them that, hey, a lot of people say, oh, you can, you gotta separate, work with family. Now it's like, to me, they're my family. I spend a lot of the time with them. So really, I'm very proud of everything that we accomplished, on the technical side. But I'm really proud of how they have grown. I mean, when I got here to Brownsville, the department was not even called a IT department. It was called the Enterprise Application Department. It was three people in the help desk, a network manager and a project manager and myself, right? So six people running the whole department. So, but I can tell you right now, those three individuals that were here, and actually all five of them, they were here when I got here. Now they have grown so much, and why? Because the city has such a great culture that allows us funds to send them for training, getting them prepared for the next level and the next level. So since I've been here 4 years in Brownsville, I have promoted them once or twice already, and just seeing their growth and seeing how engaged they are with the community. Why? Because they see the impact. I think I do a great job at letting them know how important they are for the city. Without them, it would be impossible for Brownsville to keep running. IT is the heartbeat of the city's operation. Without it, it's impossible to operate. And I want them to understand that. I want them to know that they are important. And you should see, my weekly meetings with them is like they're like little soldiers. They're ready to go, right? Why? Because they love it.
Are
So,
they excited? I know that sometimes, I would venture to say that people that watch this show,
mhm.
they want real information, because this is not a regular podcast where we're just giving opinions. This is factual.
Yeah.
And the people who watch this are trying to get more information about Brownsville. I would encourage all the citizens in Brownsville to want to watch this. How excited are they? Because we get criticized as commissioners
Hmm.
that we don't invest enough money into our public safety, and but how excited are you and is your team to be under one roof in the future, in the new public safety complex, led, right? Obviously, everything is police, fire, emergency management, but the backbone is this connectivity.
Yes.
And having all of that under one roof, how exciting is that for you guys?
For me, it's really a dream come true, especially for cities. You're a IT leader out there. It's very hard for the IT department of the city to integrate with the police or fire, right? Because sometimes they separate in two different entities, because the police department, they have what is regulations for criminal justice, right? What they call sieges. So sometimes it's like they end up having two teams or whatnot. But us coming into that one building will allow us to be close to those departments, and getting them to know us and know us knowing them, and understanding their problems, because a lot of times that's like the main issue. We don't understand each other,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I think now having us on the same building, and I'm not saying that right now we don't have a great relationship. We have a great relationship with all departments, and we help them as the same as any other department. But being under one roof,
Oh
we're gonna
yeah,
have
it's
our.
a game changer.
It's a game
It's a
changer.
game changer, and not too many cities in the country get the chance to say that they have everything under one roof, and Brownsville will.
Well, and our cyber command there will be, it will be huge. I can tell you, it's gonna be amazing having us there all together.
So, last question, Jorge. It's been a great episode. A lot of information. I've learned so much. Besides strengthening your password,
Yes.
what other advice would you give any resident or small business owner, like a free tip from Jorge Cárdenas on how they can better protect themselves? Obviously, and go to the course, right?
Yeah.
But besides that, what other quick tip would you give them?
I think that the password is the first layer. The second one will be the multi-factor authentication. So right now, if you have even if you have a strong password, somebody might be able to get access to it because you shared it, or you logged into a public space and now they got your password. But if they get your password and you don't have a multi-factor authenticator, they're gonna go straight into your account. But if you have a multi-factor authentication, what that is like if that account or that application detects that you are trying to connect from a different location or different device, that account is gonna say, okay, you are connecting from a different place, different device. Okay, authenticate yourself. Tell me, they're gonna send you a code to your phone that you already predetermined and say,
Hey, are you really trying to log in?
yes,
I get that even with my Facebook
yes,
because I don't want it hacked. So I always get someone's trying to log in. Is it you?
yes,
And it's like, no, it's not me. And that's
And-
time to change the password.
yes, and then you say no and
No.
change your password, right?
That's right.
But that I think that is two: password and multi-factor authentication. If you have those two, you're
You're ahead
should
of
be
the
good.
game for
You're
now.
ahead of the game. Yes.
That's free advice here
Yes.
from our expert, Jorge. I can't thank you enough for joining me here at Brownsville at Large. I mean, talking to us what's going on behind the scenes. I hope that our residents take away a couple of things from this conversation. Number one is that technology infrastructure is no longer optional.
That's right.
That technology supports education, it supports public safety, it supports small businesses, it supports city services, it creates opportunities for our residents to participate in an economy that's becoming digital more and more every year.
Mm-hmm.
Fiber is not just cable that is being run underground. Our private 5G is not just a faster wireless signal. And that a smart city, connected city, we're going to use your term, okay, is not a city that purchases new pieces of technology. A connected city uses technology responsibly to solve problems, improve services, protect the residents, use AI to make sure that we are ahead of the game when there happens to be a natural disaster or a crisis situation. So that the investments that we're making, okay, today are going to help Brownsville have a better place for our children to learn, work, and build a future and build businesses.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just technology, it's people and it's opportunity. Okay. That's what I hope our citizens get out of that. Is there any final words or anything that you want to share before we conclude the episode?
No, I think it's just letting them know that the IT department is here to support the residents, right? If there's any questions or help they might need, always call us. Whether it be fiber, whether it be cybersecurity, or whether it be just a question on career path for those students out there. I'm big on being a mentor, and I'm a mentee myself, so I encourage them to reach out and try to learn as much as they can. So and then the last one is, don't be afraid of AI. AI is gonna be here to stay. It's not going anywhere. So it's might as well jump on the bandwagon and learn it, and that will put you in a great place.
Perfect. That's Jorge Cárdenas. That's going to do it for this episode of Brownsville at Large. I'm Tino Villarreal. We'll catch you next time.
Brownsville at Large, voices that shine.